The CSO Partnership for Development Effectiveness, or CPDE, is an open platform that unites CSOs from around the world on issues of effective development cooperation, or EDC. It is the broadest and most diverse platform working on effective development cooperation, spanning 7 regions and 8 sectors, with activities currently being implemented in 95 countries. In 2017, CPDE continued to engage stakeholders in policy discussions, builds capacities of its members in doing development work, and unites CSOs across the globe on important issues. For its core advocacy on advancing effective development cooperation to influence the 2030 Agenda, CPDE actively engaged with the Global Partnership for Effective Development Cooperation, or GPEDC. CPDE also engaged other policy arenas at the global level and across regions and sectors, such as the UN High-Level Forum, Financing for Development, OECD Development Assistance Committee, European Commission Policy Forum for Development, Task Team for CSO Development Effectiveness and Enabling Environment, pushing its advocacies on private sector accountability, South-South cooperation, CSO development effectiveness, enabling environment, and countries in situation of conflict and fragility. CPDE's policy inputs and recommendations are based on strategy discussions and in-depth policy research studies and publications. CPDE established regional observatorios to consolidate capacity-building activities on monitoring development cooperation and partnerships, research, advocacy, and mobilization. CPDE continued its work on sustaining awareness on the Istanbul Principles and ensuring their integration in CSO work across different contexts and in sectoral issues. CPDE continues to improve its systems, processes, and ways of working to be of full service to its constituencies. Both the Global Council and the Coordination Committee continue to assess and improve their protocols for governance and decision-making. The strategic planning exercise in 2016 led to the development of the strategic plan, account, build, and commit towards people-centered development, setting the need to advance effective development cooperation as its core advocacy. Working from this approach, CPDE continued to scale up its country-level work and made sure that it remained at the center of all its efforts. In total, the platform was able to support 44 organizations in 43 countries. 21 country-level initiatives were conducted to continue facilitating the discussions and monitoring of EDC commitment in relation to Agenda 2030. These were held in Canada, Dominican Republic, Palestine, Jordan, Egypt, Mozambique, Togo, Malawi, Niger, Gabon, Rwanda, Kyrgyzstan, Mongolia, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Armenia, Venezuela, New Zealand, and Australia. In Mozambique, the African Forum and Network on Debt and Development, or AFRODAT, carried out a research on blended financing for 8 projects and are now advocating for policy changes to ensure that aid is not tied and that private sector will be accountable for their contributions. 12 country-level actions for advancing, promoting, and implementing the Istanbul Principles for CSO effectiveness were carried out in Nicaragua, Colombia, Bolivia, Cameroon, Kenya, Ivory Coast, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Philippines, Malaysia, and Moldova. In Colombia, the Confederación Colombiana de ONG, CCONG, conducted consultations across 14 regions and meetings in Bogota, Cali, and Cartagena to discuss the application of Istanbul Principles in implementing development projects. CCONG also called on the country's Congress and Parliament to recognize the Istanbul Principles and CSO adherence to self-regulating practices, making it a development actor on its own. CSOs in 13 countries implemented actions to build evidence on the legislative and regulatory framework that hinder the creation of an enabling environment for CSOs and the formulation of recommendations to reverse the trend. These actions were initiated in Mexico, El Salvador, Chile, Peru, Sudan, Gaza, Indonesia, Czech Republic, Macedonia, Albania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and Nigeria. In Indonesia, the Institute for National and Democracy Studies, INDES, conducted a comprehensive study on Ormas Law, Law on Mass Organizations. To understand its impact on CSO's right to democratic participation and freedom of association, INDES also produced policy recommendations on the implementation of SDGs and how they can contribute despite shrinking civic spaces. CPDE members on the ground have been relentless in advancing its advocacies in their respective countries and pushing for unique and context-based actions and solutions. In 2017, CPDE considers its efforts to operationalize the advocacy of universalizing effective development cooperation and scale up its country-level work to be its greatest achievement. Much work still needs to be done, but the work of CPDE's members and the support of its partners allow it to sustain the momentum and move forward. More than ever, the CSO partnership is determined to continue to engage, empower, and unite towards effective, people-centered development.